And we welcome you back into another great episode of Anchor TV Interviews. Hello everyone, my name is Tim Yean, Sports Manager for Anchor TV, your host as usual, and today I'm here with another important, very special guest. It is the outgoing president of WXIN and the outgoing SCG Vice President, Tess Sullivan.
Yeah.
Tess, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's cold today, but
I know,
it's been busy already.
Like last week, it was very nice, 3 straight days of like 80-degree weather.
I know.
And then, it's like we packed up like the entire like 70-day thing, just like.
Well, and I was trapped on my internship too for one of those days, and I was so sad because I was like, I want to go out. And so even this week, I did a walk with my student, and it was more for me and less for even her because I was like, I want to go for a walk.
Yeah. I appreciate you taking the time to reschedule, taking the time to come in today.
Yeah,
so,
thank you. I'm so sorry.
This is like, a lot of people say this, but this is your first time in the studio, so.
Yeah. I can't get over it. This is the coolest. This is the coolest. This is like such a cool space. Everyone should know about it. I'm gonna be like Paul Revere about this place.
All right, we appreciate all the publicity we can. So to start things off with you, how has it being a part of WXIN, and how does it feel to be leaving the radio station and the college as a whole now?
Yeah, I think, I have two different answers for both. I have different answers for both of them. I think but it's the same like theme. With WXIN, it's really. It's just like it's been a lot of hard work I put into that.
Mm-hmm.
That is my baby. You know what I mean? Like I've really she's been with a lot of hard work has just grown into just being such a huge, massive community. That's what I'm the most proud of.
Right.
And I'm really gonna miss all the other people in there. I think they are some of the most funniest, creative, like really nice people, and like they just are really good at making community. Because you can't have community unless everyone's working together. And I just feel like everyone's really good at scooping each other.
Right.
And it's really like. I was in such a weird place my freshman year, and so having that, it was so helpful, and being able to like make a space for people so their freshman year isn't like how mine was, is just so nice. And I am really sad to leave it, but I feel confident in where it's gonna go, and like just that the community will stay. And as for Rick, I think I have another year. I'm gonna do my master's here, but it's gonna be different. I'm gonna drop all of the crazy things I do, but I think I'm gonna really miss like the administration and like faculty and staff who have just been so incredible to me. Like they've just been really scooped me up and just made me feel like really pushed me to be a really good person. And also just been like really just wonderful adults have let me come into their offices and just harass them. And so I'm really gonna miss them, and I think that's gonna be hard. But I'm baby stepping through it.
Right. So what has it been like? As like a follow-up question, being able to build those relationships with, the staff and faculty and professors here, especially because you're also the SCG Vice President, obviously. Yeah. So you kind of are in a lot of conversation with them. Yeah, it is such an interesting dynamic because I am Vice President. So there's some times where I'm like, I really appreciate this like adult in my life who have been so supportive and has been like helping me with like personal stuff and just with all these things. But it's so interesting where it's like sometimes I'm like, well, why did you make that decision? And so then I have to like kind of advocate. And so it's a weird relationship, but I feel like what has been so nice is that because I have these already relationships, like very personal relationships with these faculty and staff and just all the adults, but because I have that relationship, it's so much easier to have those conversations and like they were able to have honest conversations. You know what I mean? They don't give me fluff and I don't give them fluff. And I think that's a really cool experience having at Rick, which I don't think I'd get in another school, is that because it's so small, the professors, I talk about it in the college tour, is like having your connections and being able to have these relationships with people and like they just care so much, it makes the world of difference. Yeah, that's awesome. So, you mentioned in that, previous answer, freshman year, joined WXIN. What was that initial interest in joining, and what kind of like commitments did you make through there that made you decide your junior year, hey, let me run for president of WXIN? Yeah,
I'm so glad you asked this. I had a friend, so I went to my summer camp, Tafa and Andrew, shout out.
I'll send the YouTube video to them right after, just to make sure, yeah.
Yeah, please. But I went to camp and I had a friend there, and she was like a couple years older than me, so I was in high school, but she was starting college, and she had her radio show. And I was in high school, and I'm like, this is so cool. This is the coolest thing a person can do. Plus there's like Radio Rebel and like Pitch Perfect, there's like a scene where she's at her college radio. And so I was like, this is it. Like, this is so cool. Like when I come to Rick, I was already not super excited to come to Rick, but I was like, I'm gonna join the radio. Like that's just gonna be like my thing. So I, over the summer, I applied for the alt MD position, which is, I was thinking about it last night, I was like, insane. I was a freshman. Right. I wasn't even in
Not even on
yet.
the campus yet.
Yeah, and I was like applying to it. I didn't even know what I was signing up for. I think it's crazy when any freshman decides to do anything outside of the comfort zone. So I that was crazy. But I like got an interview. It was me and Jack Doyle. We're sitting on the couch. It was like move-in day. It was one of the first people I met, and we both got hired together. And he was like, I remember he like said something to me and was like, I don't know, but he like really like locked in that we were gonna be like in it together, which is really cool because like he's one of my boys. Like I freaking love Jack Doyle, but we just both got hired, and then we were just mixing it up, and then. It was so small. It was just our like music directors and e-board. That was it. There was like no general members. And it was so small. We didn't do shows, and the shows we did were like once a semester maybe. And no one really came. And so it was like, all right. And then the year after, the more people started finding out about the radio and more. And then as that was happening, I was like, I also applied to do e-board my freshman year, so I was secretary, and I was like, this is it. I'm just going to keep going up. It just felt like a natural progression to be president.
Right. And so for your decision on rec, was it just like it's in state, it's like literally like a couple of minutes away from my house?
Yeah, I wanted to go to Salem State. When I found out I was going to Rick, I sobbed because I was just like, I really don't want to go to Rick. I really, really don't want to go, and so I was crying. But I was like, but the 5-year social work program is pretty cool. So then I was just like, it's cheap. I don't have any debt, which is nice, and now I'm here.
Right. So, alongside your activities at WXIN, I mentioned it before, you were a huge part of steering community government as a SCG's vice president. You already talked a little bit about into those, professional relationships with the faculty and staff.
Yeah.
But how about maybe sort of like the friend aspect of things, like working with your fellow students?
Yeah, that has taught me so much. I say this all. I feel like my classes have taught me a lot, but like the experience I've had in like clubs and like SCG, I've learned so much. I think what was really helpful is that Dante and I have been very communicative with one another about like and setting boundaries of like, okay, we're in friend mode and now we're in like SCG mode, because I think there's some things we disagree on with SCG stuff, and it's like not personal, and it's like just having those kind of conversations, and it's really interesting also like having, because I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't want that to like, I feels weird being a vice president because it's like people like think of you a certain way, but it's like, I'm just a student, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have time to deal with some of these things, but it's been an interesting dynamic, but it's been cool. I feel like being vice president is that extra step where more students have reached out to me, like if they have problems or they need like resources. It's been really cool that like people like know my face and know that's someone they can go to, they can trust with that. Right.
And for, working with Dante, have you, did you have like a relationship, with Dante beforehand, before SEG, or?
Yeah, he's just like, he's one of my best friends. I freaking love Dante. He's just, oh my gosh, I can't even talk about it. He's just like, we went to DC together last year and we just like clicked. Like it was kind of insane. And it was just like, I think it was also just one of the things where we both just like, I don't know, right person, right time. We just like found each other. And so then we really clicked in DC, and then he just was like my buddy. You know what I mean? Like he's just, and then ever since then, it's just like, he's been around. We've been friends for like less than 2 years, which is great. Like it was over October, we found out we were friends for a year, and it was like, it just felt like longer. Yeah, love that kid. Shout out.
And make sure you watch this interview too, Anchor TV YouTube channel. I'm just saying, we need the promotion. How have you been able to balance your time between WXIN, SEG, some, a lot of other crazy rules, and I know you have an internship as well as also just being a college student?
Yeah, I don't. I think a lot of it is I'm very privileged in that I don't work a whole bunch. You know what I mean? I'm very privileged. I'm just able to focus on just doing all of the RIC things. So I've kind of just like maxed out all of the RIC things you can do. But for balancing it, I have a really great support system. My roommates are like my people. Like it is just like, and Dante and Ollie, like they are just my people. Like I don't think I'd be able to do all the things I can do if I didn't have such a strong support system. It's also like they're also involved in all the things I'm doing, so it's just nice having those relationships, being able to be friends with people and work with them, and just having that balance with them has been great. And like, yeah, for other than balancing that, I have an Outlook calendar that I did pretty good on, but after the concert, senioritis hit bad. And I haven't been balancing as well, but I'll figure it out.
Right, that actually leads to my next question.
Yeah.
That, right after that JT concert, which is, in my opinion, one of the biggest things, maybe the biggest thing that's been done for the college a little bit lately.
Thanks.
No problem. I mean, I enjoy. I was a little bit in the back, but I really enjoyed that. Tell us about a little bit on that process and booking JT, talking to JT's team, and scheduling the entire event.
Oh my gosh. Oh my, it was a dream. I wanted to do a concert since my freshman year. It started as a bit. It was New Year's Eve, and I saw this guy on like playing at New Year's Eve, and he was from Rhode Island. I said, "We're gonna get him to play for the radio." He cost $70,000.
Oh.
I said, we can't afford that. But then I was like, oh, this is a thing that schools do. And so then I tried my sophomore year, and then stuff happened. And then I tried my junior year, and then it didn't happen. But then this year, like, this is what I'm talking about with faculty and staff, they were like, you're gonna do it this year. Like, they were like, this is just gonna happen. And so I went to a conference a couple years ago, and I learned a lot there. And I really this year just got to do all the stuff I had learned how to do. And it was a lot of learning about like contracts and like how we're a public institution, how that's different, and how the process of like getting a rider and a tech rider and like all of the different vendors you need to make a concert happen, and like all these different elements to setting it up. But I felt so confident and prepared the day of, where it was like she came in the building and I was just like, it was just so cool. You know what I mean? It was like, holy crap, this is actually happening. And everybody was just, I felt so calm that day because I was so prepared. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was super helpful. She like did a great set. She was super, super kind. I brought her dog with her. That was awesome.
Okay.
Met her dog. I think his name is Skrilla, but the dog was really freaking cute. And this
I'm sorry.
No, what's your truth?
Is it Skrilla?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Was this, do you know if the dog was named before or after? 6 like this is a very off, like.
I don't know. I just know it was some name for the dog. But this is some insider information, is that the day of the concert, I think the second opener was on stage, and I was like, okay, it's time to get her dinner. And we got her food order for like the restaurant. I think I don't need to say the name, but she said, we gave us the order. We called the restaurant and they're like, we're closed for an event. And I was like, hey, okay. Hey, she's coming in like 45 minutes and there's just not gonna be any food. Or no, not even at that point. No, she was gonna be there in like 10 minutes at that point. We were like, cool. So we had to find a new restaurant and like send it to her, have her pick the food, and then call the restaurant and then send Jack Doyle, send him to go get the food while she's like performing. It was like, that was like maybe the craziest part of all. There were some other craziest things that happened that day, but that was so funny, where it was like, yeah, okay, we're just gonna pivot, but it all was fine. She got like PB&J wings, so all was well. She got a Caesar salad, but somebody else got the PB&J.
Caesar salad, okay.
Yeah, she made a TikTok about it. I said, oh great.
Right. And she also made an Instagram post about the thing, so.
That was so cool. It went platinum in our house when it came out. Wow. We were like, oh my gosh, yeah.
What was the decision, come down to choosing JT?
Yeah.
As a performer?
So she performed at Brown last year, and so I was like, okay, she's been here before. That'll make it a little bit easier for like reaching out to other schools and like knowing who to get to come here, and like it'll be easier to convince people. And then the year before we did a survey with the junior year when I tried, and it was like overwhelmingly students wanted a hip hop or R&B artist to come, and so I was like, JT's up and coming. She's already played at Brown. I like her music. Mm-hmm. We're just gonna like. It also made the process go a lot easier because it was like, if we already know the artist, we could already like start just like going,
Right.
And it was super awesome. And then she like released some new songs. She has new music coming out soon with Zara Larsson, I think. So I'm really excited because if she blows up, I'll be like, and I got her before she blew up.
Right.
So, yeah,
right.
That'd be cool.
And also, some of the preluding acts, Kunle and Plastic Peaches, were they also, pretty interesting people to get?
Yeah, so Peaches are like day one. They were like, their second show ever was a WXIN show, and they've just blown up. They're huge, some of the nicest people in the whole entire world. I love them. They've just always been in our corner. Have just been like so forgiving and understanding with us, like learning how to do all the sound stuff and do DIY shows. And so it was like a no-brainer to pick them. Like that was an executive decision I made where I was like, they have done so much for them. Let me do this for. They have done so much for us. Let me do this for them. Right. So that was a no-brainer. And then for Kunle last year when I tried, we did a competition for the opener and he won. And I think last year he was a student, and so he's since graduated. But it was cool to have. There's the drummer of Plastic Peaches is an alumni, and Kunle's an alumni. But it was really cool to have him come back and bring all those people. And I've heard just like great things about him. Like he just like everybody really liked the set. So I'm proud of that. I'm glad that went well.
That is good. Like I said, I really enjoyed the concert as a whole. Like,
yeah.
Plastic Peach was a nice opener. Kunle, a little second performance, was awesome to at least listen to some local music. And then JT, really, set the
exploded the stage.
Right.
So like Buzz Lightyear.
What are some other events, right, that you played a big part in for WXIN this year, maybe a couple of years before that you'd like to bring up here?
Yeah. WXIN Stock this year was electric. It was so cool because that was also like, so I got elected in May, and then it was like kind of hitting the ground running where it was just like, okay, just go start doing all the things. So it was like getting the food truck, reaching out to the thrift store, just doing all the things to make it happen. And then when it happened, we had like at least like 200 people show up, if not more. And that was so cool because the bands were great, the music was great, people were sitting, people were dancing. Like, I loved that night so much. That was so fun. And I think just like, I don't even know this event, but the other thing I'm like proud of is like the election thing with SCG, is like opening it up to having the whole student body vote. That was a beast, but like having that actually happen, and like we learned so much, but that was just a really cool thing to start over. But the concert's really like that's what I'm always gonna be so proud of. It's like, I really want to do concerts now. I think I'm gonna finish my social work degree, but I'm really gonna try and get in that because it was so much fun. It was so fun.
Right. Kind of not in my set of questions, but we're kind of related. But Judy LaRose next VP for SEG. Any tips for, or have you had any conversations with her, or do you have any tips for Judy as she comes into your role?
Oh my gosh. Well, my tip for Judy is just like, I just want her to make sure she takes care of herself, which I think she has, because she will, because we've had a lot of conversations. But I think my only thing for Judy, and we've talked about this all the time, is like, I just keep being a loud woman. I think it is so important to be in a room and asking questions and standing up for what you believe, and not being afraid to talk in meetings, not being afraid to talk in rooms that you're like, just like, you are in this room for a reason, like don't be afraid. And she's already so incredible at that, but I think that is her superpower, and I think that just keeping that is so essential to keeping SDG and keeping the student voice out there. Because she also talks, what's also cool about Judy, she talks to students who aren't involved too, like she just hears so much. So I freaking love Judy. This is just a Judy love fest. I love that girl.
All right, now let's change it over to the Jon Seguin Fest, right?
Hello,
New president of WXIN.
Yeah.
How have you mentored and guided him as he prepares for his new role? And what are some tips and advice for him as he enters the summer as the new WXIN president?
Yeah. Well, thank God he did Rock Hunt, because he was incredible at that. Like, that was something that was so taken off my plate, which I didn't realize how nice that was. Like, he was just so on it, reaching out to bands, getting their contracts, figuring out the times, like, just being on it with that group chat. Like, I feel a lot less, because that's the biggest beast with WXIN is the contracts, and him already having that done. Like, that just, I already feel so much better. I think he's also really good at, like, talking to people, so I think that'll be good. And that e-board is so strong. I feel like they're just like a great amalgamation. Yeah.
Do you want to give a quick rundown? Just cause.
It's Jon Seguin, Megan Turner as vice president. It's Malcolm Mann as treasurer. We got secretary as Val. I got Maddie Martin as promo, Meg's old job, and then I got Jack Doyle, tried and true. Nice. I feel like it's a good mixture. I feel like Jack knows all the old stuff. I think they'll bring a bunch of new energy, and I think Jon will be good at leading that. Because I think he's from Providence. He knows more bands. He's also he's been a general member. You know what I mean? I think that's what I've been missing, is like, I want to do a bunch of shows, so we've done a bunch of shows, but maybe that's not what the general members want. Maybe it'll be more radio focused on doing more creative shows or more giveaways, or like bringing people from outside radio stations to come. I think I'm really excited to see what happens next for WXIN.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I mean, I'm excited for maybe the potential collaboration as well, because I've heard those talks with John, Josh Greenberg, also Kelsey Conroy, who I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, I believe. So
good.
Just a lot of ideas regarding collaboration, and I'm really excited to see that. And I'm sure you are too.
Yeah.
Finally, I also asked this to Jon as his final question.
Okay.
Any album in the world, in history, what is a must listen?
I think Melodrama by Lorde. I think especially for college students or people who are like in that age where it's like you're done with high school and you're starting to like kind of be your own person, but your brain isn't still fully developed yet. I think it is the perfect like coming of age, like, but it's not like for teenagers. It's just like she wrote it when she was in her 20s, and it's so beautiful. It's such a fun album. It's just like, it's like that album feels like a late summer night, and I just think it's so great. I think Lorde is a genius. I love her. I think that album's perfect. It's my number one, and I think everyone should listen to it because I think it's just fun.
Do you Would Toph and Andrew agree with that?
I don't know, probably not. No,
Oh.
because over the summer sorry, now I'm going up, but they were like, oh, we don't touch the glass. And I was like, oh, whatever. But maybe. I hope so. I hope they're watching, and I hope
like I said, I'll send this to them, and hopefully they
miss
reach
them bad.
hopefully they reach the end of the video. But
Yeah.
that's all the time we have here today here on Icarus TV Interviews. Thank you so much again, Tess, for joining me today. As we round out these Ducey Media Center eSport interviews. Once again, Tim Yean here, sports manager, Anchor TV. I've said this like 18 billion times already. Here with Tess Sullivan. We hope you have a great day, everyone. Please take care. We will see you for the next episode.
Watch it.